It's tough being an independent journalist. It's especially tough being an independent journalist on the streets, like a citizen journalist. And the toughest of all is when you try to cover the pro-Hamas hate marches in this country, particularly in Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa. In those cities, police turn a blind eye to low-level crimes by the Hamas protesters, whether it's trespass or blocking streets or vandalism or mischief, the kind of things they actually declared a martial law emergency over when the truckers did it. They've been practiced to turn a blind eye to when Hamas does it, but those same police crack down on citizen journalists. We know this firsthand. Our friend David Menzies was arrested 5 times last year. I myself was arrested merely because the police said I was causing a disturbance because the pro-Hamas people were disturbed by my presence. Well, if you think it's bad if you're with Rebel News, imagine being a citizen journalist operating on your own, without crowdfunding, without a lawyer, without a team. Well, you could be in great jeopardy. And that's exactly what happened to Natasha Graham a couple of weeks ago. She was covering a pro-Hamas hate march in the city of Montreal. Our friend Ezra Levant was there too. Take a look at what happened to Natasha Graham.
Voyons donc! Mais voyons, vous êtes malade!
Put your hand behind your back. Let him get him. Keep going, keep going.
Vous avez peur de faire ça? Hey, c'est une femme, là!
You may remain silent.
C'est une journaliste indépendante. Qu'est-ce que vous faites là?
Je fais des bois de fait sur un policier.
En quoi vous faites de bois de fait? On va le voir sa caméra de bord, monsieur.
Absolutely brutal. Absolute police brutality. 3 thuggish men pounding a woman on the sidewalk, and you can hear our Alexa Lavoie saying, "That's a woman. That's an independent reporter." Incredibly, that police brutality has not caused charges or an internal affairs investigation against the police. The opposite, that citizen journalist, Natasha Graham herself, has been charged with 2 offenses by the police. She joins us now from Montreal. Natasha, I've watched those videos. It's the 3rd time I've seen them now, and I'm filled with anger and disgust at how the Montreal police act. And the jeering and the cheering of the crowds as they arrest you, it really doesn't feel like Canada anymore, does it?
No, it's hard. It's hard to watch from my end. I have a traumatic brain injury, and I've been diagnosed with that. I've been diagnosed with PTSD. I've been diagnosed with numerous soft tissue injuries, and I'm grateful, to be alive. It was horrific.
What exactly has been going on with you and the protesters? It feels like they hate you the same way they hate Alexa Lavoie. Are you a regular reporter on this circuit like Alexa is?
I began reporting on and documenting the in-person events in August of 2024, because I had previously been doing kind of OSINT style viewing of their own social media accounts. But the thing people need to understand is that the leaders of these hate marches tend to cherry pick the pieces they put up, the recordings they put up. And so I thought it was important to see in person with my own eyes what was going on. And I had the first time I attended one of these protests, it was an homage to Ismail Haniyeh, who was Hamas leader of the political side of Hamas. And I filmed an more than 8 minute actually, video of Iyad Abu Hamid, who is one of the leaders of Montreal for Palestine. And it went viral to the point where politicians were reposting it, not with credit to me, unfortunately, but even Anthony Housefather reposted this viral video. So that basically put me on the radar of the jihadis. And since then, I have received threats. I have been physically assaulted more times than I can count. I have filed charges against one of the leaders of Montreal for Palestine because I was swarmed and assaulted on the anniversary of October 7th when I was documenting their hate rally at Place des Arts. I've been consistently assaulted, but what happened on October 7th, because I've been to 6 at length, and then I've been to gone to the Roddick Gates at McGill and kind of just in and out quickly to other events. But what happened on October 7th on the anniversary was that I kept asking the police for assistance. And one of the police officers said to me, "C'est genre de rebel news, Lola," meaning, "Oh, she's like rebel news." And so that's when I started.
As a kind of insult, or they think that any citizen journalist must be rebel news. I've seen that
well,
before.
They kept insisting that I was rebel news, and this is also what happened when I was manhandled by the 3 police officers. Was they kept repeating to me, "You're rebel news. You're rebel news. You're creating an event." And I kept saying, "I am not rebel news. I've never worked for rebel news." But they really had this narrative in their mind, and the narrative of the police officers is provably demonstrably false. I have footage, and Alexa, thank goodness she was there nearby, because she had the 360 camera, which shows exactly what happened, because my camera was covered by the police officer, Simon Fortier, who initially applied the physical force to me and grabbed one of my arms before the second police officer grabbed my other arm. They began pulling me in different directions. But he was very preoccupied with this narrative. And because it was inaccurate, it was difficult to understand directives, because I was following the directives to stay out of the protest, as I always have, not to go into the protest, but the pro-Hamas jihadis mob anybody who is recording them. So then you need to try and evade them by moving away. And then if you go onto the road a little bit, then your mob's there, surrounded and hit. And then if you move back onto the sidewalk, they mob you there. At one point, Alexa and I were pressed up against a building wall. Yeah. And it's impossible for me to understand why the police are not protecting any free citizen who wishes to document what's happening on our streets. This is very important that the public see this. I have only seen Guillaume and Alexa from Rebel documenting these events, and other independent journalists in Ottawa. In Montreal, I've only ever seen them.
Yeah.
I don't know where the journalists are. I don't know why they are not documenting these events. Perhaps they're afraid too. Perhaps they also get assaulted. I can't say.
This report is brought to you by...
Canadians know the national anthem. They stand in silence to remember those who died for this country. But not every Canadian knows their rights and freedoms. The Freedom Passport will change that. It looks and feels like a Canadian passport, but contains the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms in a portable, easy-to-read format. The Freedom Passport. Order one for yourself and for all the freedom lovers that you love at freedompassport.ca.
I think that's a very real factor. It's funny because when Rebel News went to Montreal en masse during the lockdowns, no independent journalists were on that beat. In fact, police were startled to see us out documenting the curfew. They had never seen journalists show any curiosity before. When I was in Montreal last week for the leaders' debates, I had lunch with a prominent lawyer who told me something I didn't know. He said that there was a class action against the city for over-policing these riots, these protests, and that the mayor paid $25 million, that the mayor ordered the police to pay $25 million to settle this class action. It was a bogus class action. It was those Hamas protesters suing the cops, saying the cops were too tough on them. And it was basically money laundering so the mayor of Montreal could give all those people 25 million bucks. But imagine what the lesson the police took from that. The police took the lesson. The mayor is on the side of the Hamas protesters. And if police dare lift a finger against the Hamas protesters, there could be another lawsuit. So best be violent with citizen journalists like Ezra Levant or Natasha Graham, because no harm can come from that. But I want to tell you what we're going to do. It pains me, obviously not physically, but it pains me, my spirit, to see you being treated this way. And you are not a Rebel News journalist. And that's a very strange thing that the police regard any independent-minded person as a Rebel News journalist. It's, in a way, it's a compliment to us. But I want to make sure you have help, because I know that for 99% of people to be faced with a legal process, especially a criminal charge, is terrifying and costly. And I know that normal people don't sometimes even know what to do. So I'm pleased to say that Alexa and I have talked with you and have taken a few steps to set you up with a lawyer. And I would like to confirm with you our intentions to crowdfund the cost of that lawyer at savenatasha.com, because I want to remove from you the stress of the finances, and I want to remove from you the stress of, well, how do I do it? The lawyer you're using, I believe, is a lawyer that worked with Alexa before, and he comes highly recommended. I haven't worked with him myself, but he's been recommended by an excellent lawyer. So I would like to let you know that we can at least remove that piece from the equation. And I know that that's not a total solution. That's not security guards when you're on the street. That's not a political solution. It's not those things, but at least it's one piece of the puzzle. We deal with this all the time with Alexa, by the way. We need lawyers for her. We have bodyguards for her sometimes. But for now, I would like to commit to you that we will work with you and your lawyer to take care of the costs of your prosecution. And I'm actually optimistic. I think that video was so brutal that I think and your infraction was so made up and exaggerated by the cops. I don't even know what they could possibly have charged you with, that I'm pretty sure that this will be, if I had to guess, I think it'll be resolved even before trial. But you need a good lawyer to do that. So we're happy to crowdfund that.
I am extremely grateful. And I wanted to say, because the amount of support I received after was really moving. You reached out, and Alexa reached out, and Rebel News, and Mark Stein wrote an article, Joe Warmington reached out, many independent, like Viva Fry and David Creighton, and it's just been overwhelming. And then from everybody who's reached out to me, and I had wanted to do an interview with you closer to the time after it happened, and so that people weren't confused, but I was so bereft. I was in physical pain, and I was traumatized. I still am, and I couldn't. I was incapable. I was literally incapable of doing an interview. So I apologize.
Don't apologize. You know that
for
we all saw
confusion to people. you know?
We all saw what was done to you, and we were all appalled by that. The least we can do is to help you with a lawyer. If I was there right now, it looks like you could use a little bit of a hug. I would give you a hug if I were there. And I know Alexa has been a moral supporter of you, and I'm sure she has hugged you because you two see each other. So please keep your spirits high. Don't let them grind you down. Know that you've just listed some excellent people to have on your side. We'll crowdfund the legals, and I hope this doesn't stop you from doing an important thing. You are correct.
No.
The Montreal Gazette, Le Journal de Montréal, La Presse, Le Droit, all these newspapers are failing to cover this important beat because they're either afraid or politically correct, or they're afraid of the police, or they're being ordered by some political boss not to do the work you're doing. And they're trying to stop you from doing it. I hope you continue, and I promise you that we've got your back.
When I've recovered, I'll resume. But I did want to correct one thing in Alexa's excellent 22-minute report that she did. At one point, she said I was fearless. And I'm not fearless. I am fearful because I think these people are dangerous, but I'm tenacious because I love Canada and I want children to have the Canadian dream. Yeah. And I'm doing everything I can possible to try and show the Canadian people what is happening on our streets. And I'll continue doing that. And I'm not going to be cowed by jihadis who cheer while a woman is physically assaulted on concrete steps. I won't be cowed as they yell Allahu Akbar when they see this. If I saw this happening to one of the women who attends the protest, I would have been horrified and appalled and shocked. I would not have been cheering and laughing and returning to the site of it and raising a finger, which is that's a terrorist signal, and bragging about it on social media. It's just despicable behavior. So I won't be cowed, but I do need to recover. I'm physically, I had a medical appointment today. I have a neurology follow-up. I'm not physically well yet. But removing the stress of the legal is unbelievably generous and very appreciated, because I've obviously never been criminally charged. And I was in shock when I was told that I was being charged with assault. I was in shock. I'm still stupefied.
Well, you've spoken very passionately and very movingly, and our viewers are to thank. I mean, Rebel News is just sort of the organizer. The support comes from our viewers. So I know that hundreds, maybe even thousands of our viewers will respond to your call, and we'll keep in touch with you. And I hope you have a full and speedy recovery. And you're very touching. The way you've described what you've seen is heartbreaking. And I'm very glad that Alexa is sometimes there with you as a supportive ally. And perhaps in the future, we can do some more things to help you. I want to take that one step at a time. We sometimes send Alexa with physical bodyguards. And maybe that's something we could talk about in the future. You are not a Rebel employee. We just like you, and Alexa sees you. But for now, we'll take the legal piece. And perhaps in the future, because the idea that you would be physically vulnerable to these people again pains me. So let's, when you're back in action, be in touch either directly or through Alexa, and maybe we can talk about a few more things, because it is appalling to me, and I am sure my viewers agree, that you are being physically attacked this way, and the Hamas side are laughing and jeering. That is not the Canada that I know, but let's take things one day at a time. Your health is the most important thing, and we've got the legals covered. Folks, if you want to help Natasha, go to savenatasha.com, and we will cover her legal defense. Good luck, my friend, and thank you for being so brave.
Thank you, Ezra. Thank you.